Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. I'm joined by Rebel and Mr. B, and we're discussing all things Man United, especially Harry Kane and Osherman, especially the takeover bid, and lucky Rebels in the house for that one. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. My name's OMONDI Juma. I'm joined by Rebel and Mr. B. We can have a quick intro just to ask you guys how your weekend was. I know we spoke over the weekend because Man United played. We won. We're through to the next round. Obviously, we know there's issues around that game. Obviously, we know that Rashford is injured as well, which means we're talking about Kane and Osherman as potential strikers to come in and fill that gap, because not many other players have really scored at the moment. But, with all that, just summarise for me, Rebel, about the weekend affairs. I know Ireland won something big in rugby, so maybe you can dash it in and show how excited you are at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, as you know, I was away last week. I had some time off to watch an event that happened in Cheltenham. I won't go into the ins and outs of it too much because I'm not sure if YouTube likes us talking about that particular sport. So I'll leave that where it is. Those in the know will know. Then at the weekend, my beloved Kerry won in the GA, the Gaelic football, and we did a double. That's right, a double Grand Slam for Ireland. They became the first country to win both in the same year at under 20 and senior level. So absolutely good times ahead. And obviously there's a World Cup this coming summer, so a lot to look forward to in the world of rugby. But there's also a lot to look forward to in the world of Manchester United. And I was on the watch along with Mr. B yesterday, and even though we might have been falling asleep in first half, Mr. B, that second half, bro, whoa.
Oh, what a madness. Rebel, I thoroughly enjoyed that. You blinked in the second half and you missed bits. I mean, it was a beautiful 3 minutes. I'll put it like that. It was a beautiful 3 minutes, man.
Guys, if you go and check out the watch along for that few minutes when there was red cards galore and the reaction of Mr. B and Rebel as well. And we're talking about horse racing and all these kind of sports going on at the moment, but there's a break at the moment, so there'll be an international break coming up. Last game was Fulham. Maybe guys that stay at home can get some training in and we can improve, because it's going to be, as they say in horse racing, the final hurdle or the final mile or the last
furlong.
Yeah, the last furlong. We're on the last furlong, guys, of a wonderful season. Welcome, Ten Hag. And by the way, do you want to bring that mug up again, please? There you
this
go.
Mug right here.
The mug. Oh yeah, both of you got your mug. Don't forget, guys, merchandise, Man United Agenda. Check it out. There you go. You got Marcus Rashford pointing to his face, his head, and you got, is that Martinez?
It is.
Butcher, and I've got Harry Maguire's in the kitchen at the moment, cooling down. Just by the way, I got sent a message by Stuart Marshall earlier. He said Harry Maguire's played in the last 20 games and he's been unbeaten, keeping 13 clean sheets as well. So there you go, just throwing that in there. All right, guys, we're talking.
Yeah, of course you would.
Indeed. We're talking a couple subjects today. The first one is Glazers Exit is near. Thankfully, we've got Reb on the show just to go through more details. How do we know this? What's been going on? Let's just give you a little feel here. Sorry for this. So we know that Ratcliffe is in. Ratcliffe is they made an initial bid. They turned up at the stadium last Thursday. They've made another bid. What they turned up for is just to go through more negotiations. And Ratcliffe was quite happy to be photographed going into the stadium. So he's saying, "I'm arrived. I'm here." He's made that public. And obviously, there were 6 hours of talks between Ratcliffe and the club during that period, which is a long, drawn-out process. Obviously, legal matters have to be taken into account, that kind of thing. There you go. Shaking hands. Look at that handshake. Yep, eye contact. That looks very positive from me. I don't know what you guys can read into that. Did he wash his hands? Just come out of the toilet? I don't know. What we do know is that the talks about infrastructure, youth development, and the women's team as well. All the key things that need to be finalised. And there's a price going around now between 5 and 7 million, which suggests that maybe the Glazers are going to sell up and pack up their things and go along, as they say. So over to you. Just to add as well, I'm going to read out his name. Sheikh Yassin bin Hamed Al Thani. There you go.
Al.
I'll pronounce my THs. Mr. B, can you pronounce the Al? Banny.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So here we go. So how can we summarize from this and deduce from this that the Glazers are not interested, Rebel? What? There's a lot of information there, but what you've read into it, what do you think?
Okay, let's look at, I suppose, what we know. We know that two parties visited Old Trafford and Carrington last week. That is Sir Jim's party and his Enos group and the 92 Foundation. I'm not quite able to recall the full name of that foundation that Sheikh Jazim has created, but there was two parties visiting. So it would look like the talk of a hedge fund supplementing the income or other parties being involved is no longer on the table. Now, obviously, things can change fast in business, so I will not rule out the Glazers pulling a swerve until the day that they exit the door. But let's just compare what happened last week. The representatives of the Sheikh spent far more time and more detail going through the likes of Carrington. I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe left inside 2 hours, whereas I believe the Sheikh's group spent multiple hours deep diving into what was going on. So obviously they were doing their due diligence and probably trying to do a list of this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done as we went along. Significantly then, obviously, there was meetings thereafter at Old Trafford between parties representing the Glazer family from Manchester United and parties representing the Sheikh. And again, significantly, I think a lot of speculation, at least on the wider media scope, is that a lot of these people were playing for their jobs, that they were doing an audition to say, look, this is what I do for the club here, this is what I organise, I get the contracts, I do this, I do that. And they were basically singing for their supper because chances are those people were doing a fact-finding mission as to who will be suitable to continue in some sort of a role, if not their current role, in Manchester United. Now let's roll this on to where we are today. Cave from Sky is saying that the Qatari second bid is imminent. That will be coming on Wednesday, and that there will be a significant increase from the initial price. The initial price has been reported at being £4.5 billion. That has been disputed as being 4 by some sources, 5 by other sources. But the Glazer family apparently want in the region of £6 billion for Manchester United Football Club. And looking at, again, media reports, it has been claimed that the Sheikh at this stage is going to pay the get out of my club price and come up to in the region of £4.5 billion. Enos Group would have to raise a significant initial amount of capital in order to come up to that level. Now, what is also being reported is that we're not playing on two level playing fields. The Sheikh and the Qatari Foundation are looking for 100% of Manchester United Football Club, where as it stands, according to current reports, and they are obviously open to correction once full details get published, is that Sir Jim and Enos are only looking to buy the Glazer portion, which would mean then that up on the stock market, there's still a number of shares that can be freely purchased by any party. And you see where I'm going with this. If they are available to any party, there's potential then for Glazer family influence to come back in to use some of the money that they have received from Sir Jim to buy up those shares, because unless they put forward a package to those shareholders, they are on open market when they're being put up for sale.
Brilliantly, brilliant there.
So look, from what you've said to me, Rebel, it's Qatar. It's Qatar. Is that what you're saying? I prefer this Qatar. I mean, I was hearing that the Ineos bid is still going to lumber us with the debt that we already have. The fact that they're not taking, they're only buying the Glazer shares, does worry me. So yeah, I was semi-swayed before, but you coming in with that, I'm really not interested in Jim Ratcliffe, to be fair.
Yeah, just touch on that before we go into the 14 people that are basically blowing up our comment screen. Please do like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate that. You are quite correct. The debt, even though there apparently is an arrangement with some New York bank for that money to be transferred into the hands of Enos, it has been clearly stated a number of times by Sir Jim's publications that they will not be able to absorb the full debt, meaning there will be an element of it left behind, which means that United, in some fashion, are going to be responsible for servicing that debt. And we do have significant capital expenditure in Old Trafford and Carrington to undertake as well. And that is a big factor when you're looking at this. What you're looking at with Manchester United is an over-the-top payment being required to get rid of the Glazers, and then it's going to be a significant investment in Old Trafford and Carrington. There is absolutely zero chance in the current market that they will be on a parity in terms of value once they've done the physical infrastructure enhancements. So if you are Qatar, you're buying this to put 2 or 3 billion down the toilet.
Wow. A lot of information. I think, judging from that, from what I know and understand, I have no sort of. I'm a neutral in this. I don't care who buys the club as long as it's best for what's best for the club. It does sound like the Qataris would be better off because they're going to clear out the Glazers, from what you're saying, and I think also there will be no doubt that they'd be gone. They would clear them all out, and I think what we've seen with that sort of investment group, like Man City, the investment is done in the infrastructure of the club, that will be a big issue for us as well. That's been a big issue for us, and that could be resolved with this Qatari group. There's still question marks about his connection to Nice in the south of France. I know Ramsey, Alan Ramsey. That's a friend of mine. Sorry, Alan. Ramsey, the former Arsenal player who's playing for Juve, he plays for Nice right now. He came out with a statement, didn't he, Rebel? What did he say?
He's basically stating that he was very impressed with Sir Jim's pursuit of Manchester United Football Club, and obviously as a player that works under a club that is owned by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, obviously he's speaking highly of the way that he organises his business. Now, let's just call a spade here. The scale that you're going from with Nice to Manchester United is drastically different, and with all due respect to League One, there's one club that are running the show over there, and that is Paris Saint-Germain. And to step into a club where you're fighting on multiple fronts with top quality opposition in Liverpool, Manchester City, your Arsenals, I won't list them all. There's a lot to be done. And the other thing as well is you have to look at what is required to make Manchester United competitive on the football field. We know what Ten Hag is capable of. He's been endorsed by both bidders, incidentally, and they want him there for the foreseeable future. But I don't know if Sir Jim would have the ability to upscale from what would be a player that you target for Nice and what you'd be targeting that Ten Hag could bring in and make him competitive to win Premier League title.
Okay. Guys, we're going to come to a few comments here. Do you want to big up to everyone who's tuned in right now? Don't forget to check out the mugs. Just display them again, guys. We've got Ed Mayhem in the house as well. Tyrone Williams. I'll come to a couple of your questions coming up. Stuart Marshall and Glenn, their partnership. And Glenn, thank you so much for the mugs. We've got CALLULA in the house as well. She said she's got a Sancho on her mug. And 33 wins this season so far for Man United, says Box, which is really good. Rashford pulls out the England's team for a rest. Hopefully he's right there. Yeah, we see that before with gigs, didn't we? Back in the day. Ed Mayhem said, I'll pay for the taxi for the airport, for the Glazers right there. We just need Shaw, Martinez and Fernandez to pull out right now. And I'm just going to come back to this because some funny comments here. Box is saying, what's in the bag, Ratcliffe? And he's holding something. And this one, classic jokes. Ronak saying Glazers shaking hands with Qatar as you, pardon the pun. Yeah, brilliant there. I love that. And also we've got Ty Williams asking questions now. Arnold is letting Ratcliffe know that it would be an honour to work with him should he buy the club. That's what they're talking about. I want to say I did bad to FC. You haven't been around since the early days. He's saying, last time I watched, you, man, were on like 50 subs. Congratulations. Solo pronouncing. Man like Jay Motto.
He's still doing it. He's still doing it. Don't worry. He's still doing it.
Here we go with the Rashford talk. Tyrone say Rashford pulled out the England squad. Should be applauded. His loyalty to Southgate should come to an end. Robbie Norman, all the way from Ireland. We love you, Robbie. How you doing? So that's some profit they're walking away with. Talking about the Glazers, if they do get a deal coming through. Here we go. Glazers bought the club on a debt and they walk away with $6 billion. It's truly mind-boggling how greedy they are. That's how business works. Big up to Niall Kane as well. Glazers don't buy things, says Bill Badger. How you doing, Bill? Not even wigs. Very funny. Ronak again is saying Enos won't be able to take on the Glazers' debt. In addition to acquisition, debt, and capital investment, Enos are not able to do this alone, as Rebel was saying brilliantly. 100% buyout, nothing else, says Glenn. And here we go. If Ratcliffe can't clear the debt, he shouldn't waste his time. The proposals from Qatar are far more appealing for Manchester United fans. Don't want him, Ratcliffe, says Stuart Marshall. Oil me up, baby. Bance FC again, saying, I work as a financial advisor. I'd love to come and give my take on future shows. Give us a message. Twitter, Man United Agenda. You'll get straight through to my man right here. That's Rebel, and you can set that up. Come on, Banter FC. And I hope Banter FC doesn't refer to Man United. It's the Arsenal game.
We're not that tough anymore.
Let's talk about Box's comment, man, about PSG and the transfer model. Where's Box's comment here? Here we go. PSG equals Galacticos 2.0, but even worse and not half as exciting. Do you want to elaborate on that, guys?
Yeah, I just want to say briefly that obviously they have been mainly buying stars. We see their Messis, we see their Neymars, we see their Mbappes. I won't go into the rest of that team. And obviously, when you buy a lot of high-quality players, they all want to be the star in the boat. And when you have that many stars, there's going to be obviously issues. I do agree that that system doesn't work. I think what we will see at Manchester United, if the Qatari bid is the one that does get across the line, is we will have to allow them their crown jewel. Whether it's Mbappe, whether it's a central midfielder, whether it's a superstar defender, or the next best goalkeeper in the world, we're going to have to allow them that. And they're probably going to want that. But what is going to be critical is who's appointed as a director of football to work in conjunction with our manager, Eric Ten Hag. That is key.
Question. I've got one for you. Do you think Murtog and Richard Arnold are going to be losing their job? When I had a conversation with somebody today, and there's no way they're going to go. There's no way that, especially that first year. I think that transition period. You think about, they're probably working on transfers, i.e. the Harry Kane for 100 million or the Osimhen for 87.5, which we will be getting onto in a bit, guys. They're working on deals already. We know that for a fact. So for them to be working on a deal and then the new people to come in and fight, I don't think that makes sense. I think they've got at least a year. I still think these guys have still got a year in the job. People, as much as people, we moan about how Arnold's done his job. He's still got players in. There might not have been the players that we wanted, but if we got De Jong, would we have got Casemiro? Let's be honest. We still have Scott as holding midfielder in our team, so let's not get it twisted. I think, to a certain extent, they've done a job. They've done a half decent job.
Here's the thing, and you're absolutely 100% correct. Richard Arnold and Murta will still be at the club. At least one of them will be still at the club. Whether they're in their current role, though, however, is another question entirely. They may be subservient to a director of football, and they will have their work done. They will say, look, we're 90% here on player A, B, C, and D. We're 80% on this lot. We're 70% on this lot. They may be asked to explain their logic of why they're going for this player over that player. What you could see is a shift in title. Like, there's nothing to say that Arnold and Murta aren't competent persons in a specific role within the framework of Manchester United Football Club. They may not be in their current role, though, is what I'm looking at. They may be subservient to a top quality director of football. You will not throw away 12 months of scouting. You can't do that.
That's my point. Exactly. Okay.
Guys, we're going to move on. A lot of financial talk there. Hope you got a grasp of something there from our man, Mr. B, and Rebel right there. Anyway, as we're talking about Rashford faking injury to get out of the England squad, because he's the only one scoring for us right now. And we've been desperate, haven't we, guys, for another guy, an outlet, someone else is going to chip in with goals. So the main position, I think, it used to be midfielders. We've got that position kind of sort of sorted at the moment with Casemiro and a few loanies like Sabitzer at the moment. But it's a striker, isn't it? A proper number 9. And we saw what Robin van der Persie did when he won Fergie's last title. We saw Zlatan come in, make a big difference. But now we're talking about 2 players here. And today we've got some really exciting news. One is from Spurs, who are a bit shrewd. We have bought from them before, Berbatov, Carrick, and players like that. But Harry Kane, whose contract runs out at the end of next season, so he could go for free. He's been priced at 100 million. Now, it's not a contribution to 100 million. It's a full 100 million payout, or that's it. They're trying to do a Sancho and Dortmund deal on us, you know. So because people want him, people need him. His contract right coming to an end. Recall last season, Man City got turned down 75 million. And then we got Osimhen. Everyone talks about Osimhen. Oh, he's great. He's playing for a great side. He's the new striker. He's the guy to go for. And we got the news today that 87.6 million is the price tag going for Osimhen. So without this feedback, I want feedback from you guys, not from what I'm hearing on the show right now. Turn it down, whatever you're doing, guys. But let's talk about Harry Kane, Osimhen. What do they offer? Who would you go for? Does it make a difference if like the £13 million difference? What's the best player for the club long term to give us success and win us major trophies? And over to you, Mr. B.
You know my deal. If we could have got Harry Kane 7-8 years ago, then I have no problem. But Harry Kane at 30, which is going to be, yes, he's guaranteed goals. Yes, he's Premiership proven. But you know me already. I like the players that give me the boom, you know. And I think Osimhen is going to be the one that's going to give me that. You look at him, he's got everything that we want from our striker. He's got the height, he's got the pace, he's got the strength, he's got the finishing, both feet, head, edge of the box, inside the box, curlers, outside of the foot, inside of the foot. He's got it all. So for me, Osimhen makes sense. Now I'm hearing that the price that Osimhen has been quoted at is 87 million pounds. That's what Napoli paid for them. But the beautiful thing with Italian football is they're bloody broke. So they will accept the price that they paid for him, and they're not going to be looking to make profit. I think, me personally, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's the age. Sorry, you get him on that contract under Ten Hag. As I said, you know me already. I don't want stars, although I'll hold up my hand and say Casemiro. If we have stars like Casemiro coming into the club ready-made with his level of commitment, I have no problem. But I want Manchester United to make stars. I want us to have the Garnachos. All right, Osimhen, he would be coming into our club, but he's not worldwide. We say he's not world class. I think he's virtually nearly there already, to be fair. Him and the other guy are single-handedly destroying the Italian league. If you look, he'll do his job I hope they win the Champions League. He'll be happy. He'll do his job, and then his job is done. He'll be looking for pastures new. And guess what? There's going to be nowhere newer than Ten Hag. You know, a player a manager who has turned, let's be honest, shit into sugar, because we were pants. This time last year, we were shocking. So he's a miracle worker. I think Osimhen is an absolute no-brainer there.
Well, you made your case really well for Osimhen. You provided a lot of good points there, age especially being one. What do you think, Rebel? I mean, going into this sort of Kane, Osimhen discussion, because I don't think the prices, there's 13 million between them. There's not much difference. What's best for the club?
Just speaking of Tottenham Hotspur, some big breaking news has literally just popped up on my phone is regarding his manager, Antonio Conte. And the report is that Spurs are expected to part ways with Antonio Conte before the end of this week. A manager that we were being touted as being crazy not to go for. Looks like he's going to be out of a job at the end of this week. But let's talk about the striking situation. Obviously, Harry Kane is supremely talented. Obviously, we've done something like this before in terms of getting Robin van Persie on a short-term rental, essentially. But the difference is we're talking about nearly 4 or 5 times the amount of money that we put forward for Robin van Persie to deliver us a Premier League. And the stark reality of the situation is Whether it's a season, whether it's 2 seasons, Manchester United will have to look for a replacement for Harry Kane once again after that period. As you know, I'm very high on a young fella that is unproven in Benjamin Sesko. He is due to transfer from one Red Bull club to another Red Bull club in the summer. That does not prevent him from being sold to another party should Leipzig get money that they deem is sufficient to take his services from them. How likely that is another question entirely. But the debate today is between Osimhen and Harry Kane. At £100 million, that is essentially the largest English tax that Manchester United will ever have furnished for a player who has likely at a top ceiling 3 years where he could provide services to Manchester United. And at the end of that 3-year period, he has got a residual value of nada. He will not be sold for any money at that juncture. Osimhen, young player, strong player, would be very much suited to a Ten Hag system, I would imagine. He would benefit from, obviously, what will be an enhanced midfield next season. And obviously, with Rashford and Anthony, he's going to have very exciting players either side of him that will be able to provide service or bounce off him where they might be exchanging a quick 1-2. Osimhen, on the business sense, is the better target. Osimhen, in the longevity sense, is the better target. However, one caveat. Harry Kane is very much a proven goal scorer in the English Premier League. He will definitely deliver 20 to 30 goals in English Premier League season. So, if you have a striker delivering 20 to 30 goals on top of Marcus Rashford delivering you 15 to 20 goals in Premier League, and maybe Anthony chipping in another 10 to 15, does that take you from being also Rans to Premier League champions? And that is what we have to consider.
Well, there's nothing conclusive here. I think it's a good discussion, and the people in the comments also going in. I want to say hi to Rich Sports as well. So Kane at 30 might play for another 5-10 years. So he thinks it is worth especially when he does sprint, he strolls around the pitch. I'm joking. He's a good finisher. I'm not really a Kane fan, but I have to give him credit. He's a proven, as you said, proven striker in the Premiership. Bill Baggio saying Kane is better than Osimhen. Kane will be 100
No,
million.
who said no? He's not. Come on now. He might be now, but I think Osimhen's going to cause chaos.
Andy was 80 million. Kane for 100 is cheap. Then that's from Rich Sports. Don't forget to check out Rich Sports, guys, on the channel on Rich Sports on YouTube. That would be another couple comments here. I want to say hi to Colin. Go and check out his show earlier on with our very own Rebel. He said, "Big up, gentlemen. Get these leeches out of the club, but let's forget Kane. He's way too old and overpriced as well. Both players, Kane and Osimhen, fit United, and no one can argue or be disappointed with either. But I would personally go for Martinez from Inter Milan. That's a good one. Throw us out there." And you said Sesko, didn't you, Rebel? You mentioned him as well. Stuart Marshall saying, "Break the bank for Osimhen, whatever it takes." He scored 24 goals. For fun, he has got the lot. Do you really, Pete? Now, be honest, guys. Do you really know about Osimhen? Do you watch Italian football? Because I don't. I've seen bits and bobs of him. I don't really know his game. I've seen him play a few times, but not like I know Kane. I know Kane.
I have been watching. To be fair, I've been watching him. And that was more just because I think it was accident in one, and then after the Liverpool game, I kind of kept an eye on him. He would be perfect. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man, he would be perfect. He would be pace. Kane doesn't have the pace.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when we've got a couple of games this week, a couple of games this season, we've had our guy up there, Weghorst up front, and that ball goes. He's not there. Listen, acceleration. Jesus Christ, man, he will cause a chaos. He will cause a chaos. I'm telling you on Monday.
Okay. But it's what the manager wants at the end of the day. And I think what we're seeing with that role with Weghorst at the moment, Kane can do that and a bit better. But like you say, I need to learn about Osimhen. I don't think I'm quite qualified to talk about him just yet. Napoli are ripping up league. Yeah, they're playing the best football for ages. I mean, they're going to win their first league title maybe since Maradona was there. So obviously they've got some great players. That Georgian guy, the winger, he was compared to George Best by Gattuso today, which is amazing. He is brilliant. I like him as well. But there you go, guys. We're going to wrap it up. What do you think? There's 29 in the comments. 29 people. Let's have some likes. Come on now. Show us some likes for the hard work we've been putting in today. Who are you going for, Osimhen or Kane? Give us an answer in the comments now or later after the show, and we will respond to you. We'll be here all week, guys, by the way, so keep the discussion coming. Don't forget Banter Club. If you want to come on, message Rebel on the Man United Agenda on Twitter. Anyone else wants to come on or discuss something or got any suggestions for us, or you want to buy mugs from our very own Glenn, show us the mugs again, guys, if you don't mind, then just do it. Just do it, man. Just contact us. That's what we're here for. We're here for the people. We're going to sign out for today. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Hope you enjoyed the show. I did. Very informative. Thank you, Rebel. And thank you, Mr. B. And we're going to see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. And we're going to be discussing all things Man United. And hopefully we'll be setting it up for the final furlong of the season.
Before you do go on Monday, just for the 30 in the chat, just to summarise the key points of today's discussion, Cavias said that the Glazers will be expecting a second bid from the Qatari family on Wednesday. There's no date as of yet for the second bid from Sir Jim. The Times have quoted Harry Kane as being priced at £100 million, and just before in the last hour, Osimhen is being priced at around £76 million. That's the summary of today's topics.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, 8:30. And bring your mugs ready so we can all say cheers together. All right, we're out later.